Hey, welcome to Peppy Joe's online culinary kitchen. Click that subscribe button and give me a like. Hey everyone, it's Peppy Joe here coming to you from Peppy's online culinary kitchen. And today is cold smoked cheese day. I'm in southwestern Pennsylvania. It is probably about 35, 36 degrees out here. You can see my breath going. But today, I originally did a video on this last year about using the 1100 2B from Zgrill. And since then, I've revamped the procedure and the process of how I do this. So this year, I've got these magnetic sheets. They're just I think they're like 8 by 10 or something like that. And I cut them in half. And what we're going to do is inside the smoker, I also have this little computer fan. It's 110 or 120. And what we'll do is I'll show you here in the video in just a second. Is this is going to go on the back side of the smoker on the vent. It's going to get these are magnets. These are strong pull magnets. And what this is going to do is I'm going to magnetize this to the vent in the back. So it's going to pull it's going to be my draft. It's going to pull the smoke out of the vent and create the draft as if I was using the smoker in its normal operation with the induction fan blowing. So we have that, and then, like I said, these magnetic sheets are going to go on 3 of the vent holes in the back. Okay, and they're going to cover 3 of the vent holes. And I'm going to leave the last one open because that's where the fan on the back side is going to go to pull the smoke from the smoke tube, which I'm going to take the grates out temporarily and take the pan, the drip pan out, and then I'm going to put my smoke tube underneath this pan, underneath the grates. I'm going to leave the pan out, but I'm just going to have the smoke tube underneath the grates, and then I'll have my cheese in here, and we'll light the smoke tube. We'll let it burn for about 10 minutes to get a good flame going, and then we'll put that underneath here to let it smoke the cheese and pull the smoke. So now I'm going to show you the back end of the smoker on where I'm going to put this fan. Okay, so if you look inside the chamber, you're going to see these vent holes in the back. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take those magnetic sheets and I'm going to cover these holes, this one, and this one, and I'm going to leave the 4th one open so when I put the fan in the back, it'll pull the exhaust out of that 4th hole. Okay, so now inside the chamber you can see where I have the 3 vent holes covered, and I left the 4th one open. Now what that's going to do is that's going to be where the smoke gets exhausted by the fan that I'm going to put on the back side. I'll post a link to the magnet sheets where I got these from Amazon. Now since we're doing cold smoke and it's below 90 degrees, you don't have to worry about these being bad for food. And since they're not coming in contact with the food, you don't have to worry about it. They'll be okay. So now we're going to change our focus to the back side of the smoker where the vent holes are at. These first three vents are the ones that I put the magnet sheets on from the inside. So this one, and that one are blocked from the inside, and this one is left open. This one is where I'm going to take this fan and I'm going to put it on the fourth vent hole. Now, you can see that those magnets are holding that on to the vent opening. And I'm going to plug it in, and you can see it just came on. And what that does is that's going to pull the smoke from the inside of the chamber out of that fourth vent hole. And that's what's going to create my draft. That's what's going to pull the smoke out. Okay, so as you can see, what I've done is I've taken out the drip pan and I've taken off the grates, and what's left is the underside of the smoker where the fire pot and the heat baffle is, along with the grease trap. Now, I'm not going to vacuum this out. Normally I would, but this is left over from a uh, cook from about 2 weeks ago. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my smoke tube in the bottom, and I'm going to let the smoke tube rest on this lid at an angle. Now, what that does is it creates a downhill angle for the smoke tube. If you look at the smoke tube, you'll see a bunch of holes in it, and then the backside, this semi solid area, that's the bottom side. So when it burns, it doesn't let the ashes fall out of the tube all that much. So when it's sitting on that lid at an angle, it burns downhill and helps from being extinguished. So we'll get that underneath get it lit up and get it in the bottom of the barrel here, and that'll start create our smoke. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this kitchen torch, and I'll post a link on Amazon where I got this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to light my pellet tube, as you can see, and I'm going to let this burn for about 5 minutes or so, just so it can catch the top part of the pellets and create a good ash con. I did scrape back the pile of pellets that were in there just to be on the safe side, but I really didn't have to. So now I'm going to rest that smoke tube down on that ring, and we'll let it go. Okay, so now we've got the smoke tube laying in the belly of the smoker, and it's puffing out smoke, which is what it's supposed to be doing. And if you look at the vent hole, you can just start to see it being drawn out that fourth hole where the fan is at, and the other three vent holes are still blocked up. Okay, so the smoke tube is still burning, and I got the racks back in. And now we're going to get the lid closed up and let it start to fill with smoke. Okay, so there's the fan running on the back side of the smoker. And if you look real close up against the darkness of the brick wall back there, you can see a light smoke haze. It doesn't really show up on camera that well, but you can see it being pulled out of the smoker uh, as an exhaust function, which is exactly what we want it to do. Now, when you're using these fans, you do have to take some rubbing alcohol and clean them up after you use them, because the smoke creates a creosote oil, and it does get on the fan blades and on the inside of the fan housing there. It's not really that bad to clean it. It just takes some rubbing alcohol, some Q-tips, cotton balls, and just clean up the fan blades in that housing. Okay, so here's my cheeses that I'm going to be doing. We got these are from Aldi Foods, that there's a local store to me. So we've got Monterey Jack, we've got New York sharp cheddar, we've got regular sharp cheddar, mild cheddar, and Colby. Okay? Now, here's the thing. These three cheeses are yellow. So to not mix them up, I'm going to take some toothpicks and I'm going to put a single toothpick, then two, and then three toothpicks in the top of these. The sharp cheddar and the Monterey Jack are both white. So what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to put them in the side, one toothpick and then two toothpicks to distinguish which ones are which. And I'm going to write it down on a piece of paper too. But we're going to get these opened up and we're going to get these on the rack. Okay, so there we have the cheese all on the rack. As you can see, there's three toothpicks here. And then if you look at the other side, you'll see singles and doubles. And then on the other ones, they're on the side here. Okay? So now we're going to get this out to the smoker. And we'll get it smoking for 3 hours. And then I'll show you what it looks like after 3 hours. Okay, so you can see that the fan is pulling out smoke as it's supposed to. And I do have a few leaks in my lid, which I have to get some gasket seal to put in. But it's puffing away smoke, and we're going to get these on the smoker. One of the bad things about doing cold smoke is that it really puffs out the smoke, and if you're not ready for it, it can make you cough. Now, the smoke tube is off to the right side of that yellow cheese, which is the Colby, mild cheddar, and sharp cheddar. And then we have the white cheeses, which are the Monterey Jack and the New York sharp cheddar. Okay, so after 3 hours, this is what our cheese looks like. It has a nice golden color, which is what you're looking for. And on the cheese on this right-hand side here, uh, a couple of them, it got warm in there. So they fell forward. And you can kind of see that there's some oils on it, which is okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'll get these in the house now and let them cool down. Okay, so now that we've got the cheese off of the smoker, one thing I wanted to point out was that the color looks amazing, which is what I was going for, which is what you should be going for. But these last 4 blocks here, they got a little warm. And as you can see, they kind of started to melt and withdraw the oils from the cheese. Now, it's not ruined, and there's nothing wrong with this. It's just they got a little warm from the underside of the grate where the smoke tube was, and it pulled up a lot more heat than what I should have been pulling up. Now, once these cool off, and they'll start to retract the oils back into the cheese. So there's nothing absolutely wrong with this. It's just aesthetic looking. The other cheese that's on the right hand side there, the 3 in the middle, and the other white cheeses are perfectly fine. These ones here are okay. These were away from the smoke tube from underneath. Now, cold smoking is defined as anything of temp below 90 degrees Fahrenheit ambient inside the barrel. This just happened to get a little bit higher. Cheese starts to melt at 120 to 140 degrees. So it got a little warm in that back corner, and that's what happened. So we'll get these in the plastic bags. We'll get them vac sealed up. We'll get them put in the fridge, and we'll let them sit for about 2 weeks, and then we'll use them in cheese dishes as we need them.